So girls, today we will study the another economically important crops, that is on the cereals. Okay, the cereal crops. So to start with, we will start with the very important cereal crops, that is rice. Now we know that rice is a staple food of India, and also not only India but many other countries of Southeast Asia. And this particular crop is known to have been grown in Asian countries since prehistoric times. Okay, since prehistoric times, and the remains of rice, they were found in the Yangshao excavations in China, dating as far back as 2600 BC. So this rice crop, it was introduced to Europe from India by Alexander the Great in AD 300, and cultivation of rice, it began in Australia towards the end of the 19th century. So from India it was introduced to other country, that is Europe, and evidences from Greek literature indicate that this particular crop, that is rice, it is indigenous crop of India. Okay, so rice, coming to the introduction, here we see that the botanical name of rice is Oryza sativa. Here L is, it means the author name, okay, but the botanical name is Oryza sativa, and it belongs to the family Poaceae, and also it has vernacular names such as dhan, chawal, dhan, chawal, which is usually called in Hindi, and in Bengali they used to call chal. Then we also have other many other vernacular names, okay, in India. And this particular crop is now cultivated in all Asian countries, including Burma, India, China, Thailand, and Japan, and Indonesia, Taiwan. Okay, so these are the countries which are uh, in which rice is cultivated, the Asian countries, and over 85% of the world's rice production, it comes from China, India, Bangladesh, Japan, Pakistan, and the adjoining islands in the Pacific. But in India, this rice is extensively grown in the eastern, southern, and southwestern parts of India, okay, such as the Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Orissa, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, and also West Bengal. And in India, 94% of the total rice production is from India. Okay, so over 95% of the world's rice production, it comes from India, with the production of about um, 70 to 90 million tons. So coming to its morphological characters, okay, the botanical characteristic of rice. Now this rice, it is an annual herb, okay, which has a jointed stem. As you can see here in the figure, it has a jointed stem, and the stem is about 50 to 150 centimeter high. Okay, so the internodes, they are short in the basal region, but upwards they are long and hollow. And these jointed stems, also known as the culms, okay, culms, the culms, they are partially or they are fully covered with leaf sheath. Okay, they are covered with leaf sheath, as you can see in this figure 1. So the leaves, they are simple. As you can see, the leaves, they are simple, flat, linear, acuminate, that is, they are tapering towards the end. They are ligulate and having the sheathing leaf bases. Sheathing, it's like covering, okay, the leaf bases which covers the stem. And the inflorescence, okay, you can see at the side here the figure, this figure, that is the inflorescence. Now the inflorescence is a loose, okay, it is loose, is a lax, meaning it is open or loose. And the rachis, that is the stem, the stalk, okay, the stalk, it is more or less robust, okay, it is strong and hard, it is healthy and strong. And the spikelet is tree flowered, okay, it is the spikelet in rice is tree flowered, on or onless. What are on, they are actually they are like needle like elements, okay, the hairs or bristle like appendages. So these bristle like appendages, they are either present or absent. So the spikelet is either on or onless. And also the lower two florets, they are usually sterile, okay, they are sterile. Let me show you in this figure. Now you can see here in the spikelet where the this floret, there are three florets, okay, the two lower floret, they are sterile. Why? Because the lemma, they are empty, okay, the empty lemmas or the empty glume, you can see here in this figure 1, the empty glume or the empty lemmas. There is nothing in these, inside these lemmas. Lemmas, they are part of a spikelet, okay, of which enclose the floret inside, which enclose the floret inside, so they are referred to as the lemma. Now these two lemmas below, they are empty. So since they are empty, meaning uh, they are sterile. Sterile meaning they cannot reproduce, okay, sterile. Now the fertile lemma, this whole thing here, this big one, you can see the lemma. This lemma is laterally compressed, and also whereas these lower empty lemmas, they are oblong or they are lanceolate, okay, you can see they are lanceolate, again they are tapering towards the end. And also perianth the perianth, meaning you can see here in this figure, you see the presence of the ovary, okay, the ovary is superior in position, okay, it is higher, it is situated above, it is higher in position, and it is one cell with anatropous ovule, okay, just remember the ovule here is anatropous, meaning it is completely inverted, the ovule. And here we can see the presence of six number of stamens, okay, the stamens, they are six in number. And also these stamens, they have slender filaments, you can see these six stamens here in yellow color. These six stamens, they have slender filaments. And the perianth, that is the covering, okay, the covering of a flower is referred to as the perianth. It is represented by the presence of two lodicules, okay, as you can see here in this figure 2, the lodicules. These lodicules, they usually arise below the ovary, okay, of the flower. They act like a perianth, meaning they cover the flower, okay, perianth, that is the flower covering. So this is the botanical characteristics or the morphological characters of rice. Now, coming to the climate and also the soil. Now, the climatic factors like temperature, day length, and humidity, they greatly influence the crop production, the production of rice to a considerable degree. Okay, so this particular crop, that is rice, it grows well below sea level, especially in some region like Kerala in India, and in some regions like Jammu and Kashmir, they grow well above 1979 meter. So it depends, it is different. Okay, the climatic condition is different from one area to the other area, and it requires a range of temperature which usually lies between 21 to 35 degree centigrade. Now, rice crop is a short day plant, okay, but the varieties of may be insensitive to temperature, because this rice is actually, it grows well in high temperature, prolonged sunlight, and also high humidity, and there should be a sufficient supply of water. So these are the climatic conditions which affect the growth of the rice crop. And coming to the soil, the growing season of sorry, not the season, I mean the soil. The rice crop, it grows best on the soil such as clays or clay loams, alluvial soil, sandy loam, deep soil, terrace, hill slope, etc. And the pH of the soil usually varies between 5, which is slightly acidic, to 8.5, which is alkaline. Okay, so next, coming to the cropping season. The season for cultivation of this particular rice crop. Now, the growing season of rice, it depends on climatic conditions, and again it varies in different parts of India. So since India, we have varieties of climatic conditions, so that is why the growing season of rice also, it depends on the climatic conditions in different parts of India. In temperate climate, rice, it grows in warmer part of the year, okay, in temperate climate. But in tropical and subtropical climate, it can grow throughout the year. And here you must have heard about the rabi crop and the kharif crop. Okay, the those crops which are grown during winter season, okay, the winter cropping season, that is from the month of October to the month of March, they are the rabi crops. And the kharif crops, they are usually grown in the southwest monsoon cropping season, that is from the month of July to the month of October. So, the in India, the main cropping seasons, they are the autumn, the winter, and also the summer. And crop rotation in medium and uplands with which has the irrigation facilities, the rice, they can be rotated with other crops, okay, like wheat, jute, pulses, vegetables, and other types of crops. The rice can be rotated with these different types of crops. But in lowlands, the rice is usually grown year after year without any rotation. So there is no rotation with other crops. And rotation with leguminous crops, it has been observed that the rotation with other leguminous crops, it increases the fertility of the soil, okay, thus reduces the cost of cultivation. Why? Because you don't need, if the soil is very fertile, you don't need to add so much of other fertilizers. So the soil is very fertile if the rice is rotated with other crops. If it's especially the leguminous crops, it makes the soil fertile. So when you plant again the rice soil, It reduces the cost of cultivation. How? Because by avoiding the application of so much fertilizer. Now, okay, the cultivation in India actually, three principal systems are usually followed. Okay, that is dry, semi-dry, and wet. These are the three principal system which are followed in India, and we have based on the harvesting. Okay, the crop, it can be divided into three groups on the basis of harvest time. We have the winter rice, the autumn rice, and the spring rice. The winter rice, it is actually the most common paddy crop of India, which is sown in the month of June to July, and this crop is harvested in the month of November to December. So that is why it is referred to as the winter rice. And the crop, it completes its life cycle within 140 to 160 days and is usually grown in lowlands. Whereas the autumn rice, it is sown in the month of May to June and is ready for harvest by September to October. So in the autumn, the harvesting period is in the autumn, that is September to October. So that is why it's referred to as the autumn rice. And the crop, it completes its life cycle in 90 to 110 days. And this particular rice is usually mostly cultivated in highland areas. And we have another one, that is the spring rice, which is usually sown in December and January, and it can be harvested in the month of March to April. So that is why the named spring rice. And these are the three principal systems, okay, which is followed in India. So this, for this cultivation, I will send a different video on. The whole video is about the cultivation, harvesting, transplanting, manuring, okay, all those. So I will send a separate video for this cultivation. Now coming to the important improved varieties, actually the varieties of rice, there are so many different varieties. Okay, many hundreds varieties of rice are there. The improved varieties, okay, that means the high yielding varieties which are grown in India. There are so many varieties which are cultivated in different parts of India, in different states of India. But here I'm just giving you few examples, such as Bala, then Jamuna, Krishna, Sabarmati. You just have to remember the names of few of these improve the high yielding varieties of rice. Okay, so I will give that later, but here just remember that there are many improved varieties of rice which are grown in different parts of states of India. And coming to the uses now. So the rice is a staple diet that we all know, right? It is a staple diet of over a third of world's population. And this particular crop, we know that it is a starch rich food. Okay, it is mainly made up of starch only. It is very rich in starch and eaten after boiling. So that is one of the uses of rice. Simple, you, because we all know, especially even out here, we use rice as a staple food. And rice also, the second uses, you can see that it is you can see that it is converted into parch rice. Okay, what are parch rice? Parch, these type of rice, they are pressed flat and dried. Okay, parch rice. Then we have beaten rice or rice flakes and puff rice. And the third uses is that they are mixed with black gram powder, and it is used for fermented preparations, in especially in South India. You will find these types of food preparations like idli and dosa. And also the another uses is that it is used for making alcoholic beverages, and also as as a source of starch and rice flour. And we have another important uses is that the starch which is present in rice, it has a wide industrial potential in cosmetic industry. Just remember this, in cosmetic industry also it has a very potential uses. Some people, they will just grind the rice into very fine powder and make it a paste, and they will apply on the face directly. So the actually it has a very, it's like it has a medicinal property. Okay, so it is used in cosmetic industry, the starch which is present in rice, and also it is used as a thickener in calico printing and in the finish of textiles for making dextrins, glucose and adhesives. And the rice flour, we also know that it has been used in confectionery, then ice creams, puddings, pastries, etc. And here the paddy husk, okay, the rice husk. Now the husk is usually used as a fuel and for making cardboards and raw materials for alcohols, and also furfural. Here the husk which is used for furfural is actually a, it is a colorless liquid, okay, which is used as a solvent for refining, lubricating oils and other purposes. So it is a colorless liquid which is used as a solvent. And also the very important, another important uses is that the rice bran extract and also the oil extract, they are used in bath preparations for the treatment of these skin diseases. Okay, you can see derma meaning skin, so atopic dermatitis and senile xeroderma, they are type of skin diseases. Atopic dermatitis, it is a itching of the skin surface, okay, the itchy inflammation on the skin. And senile xeroderma is actually an having excessively dry skin, so they can be treated by the extract and the oil which is obtained from the rice bran. And the rice is also used in textile dye, and this bran, it is also served as a cattle feed, okay, feed for cattle. And an edible fatty oil is also obtained from the rice bran. And the straw which is obtained from rice, it is used as a fodder, fodder, fodder for feeding the cattle or other livestock. And also it is used as a soil mulch, mulch, mulch. It is this soil mulch, it is actually a layer of material which is applied to the soil surface to conserve the soil moisture and also the soil fertility. Okay, so they apply these paddy straw or the rice straw as a soil mulch to conserve the soil fertility as well as the soil um, moisture. And also it is used extensively in the manufacture of straw boards and for thatching, that is covering with straw, okay, in the roof or the building of houses, and making hats, mats, sacks, ropes and baskets. So all these are the important uses of this cereal crop, that is rice.